Hello all. Welcome to the session of leveraging Amazon SageMaker with watsonx.governance. Uh, Myself, Sunil Gajala. I am a senior solutions architect with IBM. Shankar, do you want to introduce?
Sure. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining this session. So my name is Shankar Charkuri. I'm a partner solution architect in AWS. I look after the IBM business in AWS across APJ. Uh,
Thank you, Shankar. The the agenda for today is like providing some introduction for AI governance, then bringing in how our watsonx.governance fits into AI governance, then having some introduction of Amazon SageMaker, the model card and the model registry, and then showing the integration between Amazon SageMaker with watsonx.governance, and we have a demo and followed with Q&As. So generative AI is driving a lot of challenges, which in turn is with a lot of innovation. With this advanced changes, we see a lot of challenges with respect to risk, governance, and complaints, which are more complex to handle. And of late, we have seen like organization they look for a framework which kind of adhere to accountability, transparency, and complaints. There are other challenges with different organization with respect to, say, for example, the ethnic queries, the evolving the evolving complaints, and then the data privacy as such. So on a high level, AI governance is kind of segregated into three different categories, right? One is the lifecycle governance, the risk management, and the regulatory complaints. So what exactly comes in lifecycle governance, right? So lifecycle governance helps us to track the AI model lifecycle along with the monitoring of your entire AI lifecycle. With risk management helps us to kind of make sure that the models that are developed are they do not have biasness, or they make sure they comply to a specific complaints, and make sure that we don't have any security gaps within our AI lifecycle. The next comes the regulatory complaints. So with regulatory complaints, we it makes sure that the organizations adheres to regulatory complaints based on each geos. Now with the regulatory complaints that are coming in for different geos, each geos have their own complaints. So we will have to make sure that any generative AI or the ML lifecycle that we cover would follow the regulatory complaints. Now that we have seen what is generative AI, what are the different pillars of AI governance, right? We are slowly trying to bring in our watsonx.governance, which is an IBM offering, where we wanted to show how governance will help an organization with an AI, generative AI or an ML ops lifecycle. So watsonx.governance provides a framework which allows organization to follow the governance risks and complaints. It includes right from your risk management, your model risk, your regulatory complaints, and IT governance as well. And also, watsonx.governance provides us a ready-to-use workflows, which is bundled along with the offering. And these workflows are highly customizable, and you can go ahead and create a new workflow from scratch as well. And even we can define our own policies as well. With watsonx.governance, it provides us an advanced analytics dashboard, which helps an organization to provide an high-level view of, like, say you have 10 projects, right? Like, what is the different stages of the project? What are the complaints of this particular project? Whether this particular project is kind of aligned to a regulatory complaints or not. And also it provides an automation, advanced analytics with AI infused, which helps us the organization to have the entire generative AI development lifecycle with respect to accountability, transparency, and compliance as well. So as I said earlier, with AI governance, we have life cycle risk management and complaints. Even with watsonx.governance, we make sure that any model that has been developed, which can be accelerated, responsible, and transparent, and which provides an explainable AI workflows. So with watsonx.governance, we have three different pillars: the lifecycle governance, risk management, and the complaints. With lifecycle governance, it helps us to monitor and track the entire life cycle. Say, for example, you like go ahead and create a machine learning algorithm, right? So we make sure that we track the entire life cycle of the project, say right from your development, QA, and your product pre QA and your production environment. So it contains the metadata of the entire information. Say, for example, which model was used, what were the different which was the sample data was used, what is the monitoring methods. It captures the entire information, so that any point of time an architect or a GRC officer can go ahead and review the entire information about your project. Then comes the risk. So risks make sure that in any security risk or any ethical, or the data is, whether the particular data is biased or not, all those things are covered under the risk management. It makes sure that it'll identify the risk and report the risk at any point of time, which also all these risks are kind of can be embedded within a dashboard, which provides an GRC officer or a data science architect a holistic view of the entire project as well. With respect to compliance, as I said earlier, with different geos coming in with different compliances, it is very essential that the entire the development life cycle of machine learning or a generative AI is compliant onto the particular geo. Just giving an example, we have an EU regulatory, right? Any data that resides within EU should not be moved out of the EU region, and we have other complaints as well. So we make sure that with using watsonx.data or watsonx.governance offering, we make sure that the entire development lifecycle is aligned to that particular EU complaints as well.
Thanks,
Shankar, you
Sunil.
can.
Thanks, Sunil, for providing the overview. And what is the industry challenges currently they're facing with the regulatory requirements? It could be like banking requirements, regulatory requirements, or maybe a government regulatory requirements. In the audience, you all could be like a data scientist or a machine learning engineer, business analyst. Your day in, day out, the problems could be like preparing the data for your ML model training, and you want to build a models, and you want to train it, and you want to deploy it. So every day in, day out, you may be interacting with the multiple systems. But to solve that problem, Amazon has a service called SageMaker. So Amazon SageMaker is a fully managed service where you can able to do, it could be data scientist or ML engineer or business analyst. You can able to do a data preparation. You can build a models using different sort of libraries and modules, and you can train the models, and you can able to tune that models and deploy into a different hardware and have a different inference using SageMaker. Everything whatever I talk about is that all the things you can do it from a one single console. That's Amazon SageMaker AI, and it provides you a studio. With a studio, if you are a business analyst or a data scientist, a machine learning engineer, you can able to, if it's a machine learning engineer, you can able to deploy and manage it. If you are a data scientist, you can prepare a data from a different data sources. Just give you one example, like you can able to support use a different languages like a Python or R or Spark, and you can have access to different storages. And once you have the data ready, then you can able to build the models. You can use a different of notebooks. It could be Jupyter notebooks, or it could be like a Python notebooks. And we also provide you for a studio lab for machine learning engineers or data scientists. You want to have a experience the environment, we will provide you a free studio lab, With a free studio lab, you can able to do a machine learning developments, and you can able to jumpstart your model training and deployment in different hardware. When you go to the deployment, AWS provide you different models of hardware in terms of the CPUs and GPUs, and also we provide you serverless inference. So there are examples like where you want to go to have a serverless inference or maybe a different hardware level of inference, we'll take it that part. And also we will also able to provide you a container level deployment models. You can able to deploy in your own containers, you can bring your own containers, you can bring your own models as well as and train it on AWS infrastructure from a single console. And also you can able to deploy in Kubernetes with containers into Kubernetes platforms. We support you multiple Kubernetes platform as well as. Once you have everything in single console, let's look at some of the benefits to the audience. Maybe you want to go to the next slide, Sunil. The key benefits for data scientist and business analyst or machine learning engineer is that we provide you a broad set of tools into a single unified console. From there, you can able to increase the productivity. You can able to have efficient way of building the models and training the models. As we provide you hundreds of foundation models within the same console, you can able to access almost like 400 foundation models in the same console. And also you can able to streamline the process. You build a model, you can build a MLOps pipeline. That model and that pipelines can be used by the other departments or other data scientists. And you can also build a governance, model governance. Using the SageMaker, you can also have a model governance. And in addition to that, you can keep human for a feedback or maybe approval process. Once you build a model, you test it and you want to get approved by, you can build an approval process also into the MLOps pipeline. Let's look at how you can able to do it on some of in a registry. So once you build a model and you deploy into production, you can have SageMaker model registry where you keep all models into the registry and manage the approval process and manage the metadata management, manage the documentation. You want to roll back or you want to control, you can track the performance of the models. Everything can be done in the model registry. From model registry, you want to have some additional documentation of the model. If you go to the next slide, we can talk about SageMaker model cards, which Sunil shared about. With the model cards, you can able to document your model information. You can able to retrieve the model documentation, and you can able to auto-populate the model information and share with other organizations. So you build a model you want to share with other departments or other business units. You can use the SageMaker model cards together with the SageMaker model registry. You can able to deploy. You can able to share with other audience in your organizations. So if you look at the entire machine learning life cycle of the process, so what you can see is that you have created a use cases and you onboard your machine learning team, ML engineer teams, and also now you do a data preparation and you do the model training. From model training, you went to the deployment part. Deployment, you can use a different sort of hardware and which we provided by different sort of GPUs. You can have multiple models of deployment options. Once you have that one, you can able to model using monitoring and providing documentation. So all the things of the ML lifecycle, you can do it in a single console with a SageMaker AI and SageMaker Studio. Within the studio, you can able to do all this part. In addition to, on top of that, you want to bring a data and you want to manage the data and you want to fine tune the data. You can bring into the data zone, and the data zone will be able to provide you multiple options of data access and data quality, and you can able to help your audiences. Once you have this part, then you want to control the role level, user level roles. You can use a role manager. You want to have some of the bias detection of your data. You can use a clarify. Once you bring in the model into production, you can use a model registry and model dashboard provide you performance part. So all whatever I shared about from a preparation, from use cases to a model monitor and performance, everything you can do it in a SageMaker AI. So once you go to the next slide, Sunil, we can talk about how this integration of SageMaker together with the watsonx governance. Once you onboard your machine learning engineers with the teams and you build the models, you train the models. Once you have trained the models and you did some exploratory data analysis and you capture the model training outputs and you deploy into production environment, you monitoring the models. With the what's next governance, what you can do is that you can able to have entire life cycle of the model and you have a governance policies. So we'll talk about like regulatory requirements. It could be PCI DSS from a financial cards industry, or it could be banking regulatory for a specific country, or it could be like a UU regulatory. So all the regulatory requirements you can build as a template and apply to the models and manage the model. manage it. So, do you want to add on anything on this part on the governance side?
Yeah. So we make sure, right, with integration of Amazon SageMaker with watsonx.gov, the integration works seamlessly. And any information, like say, as Shankar said, right, we are not kind of disturbing anything like any existing customer who are doing the model development as part of their Amazon SageMaker. We're not disturbing the entire like the existing flow. What we are trying to show is like how good, like how good these two integration work in tandem, and how what are the different advantages that organization would get from integration of these two offerings from IBM and AWS.
Thanks, Sunil. So in the next slide, Sunil will talk about how the architecture look like with the joint solution and what is the advantage to the customers.
Yeah, thanks, Shankar. Yeah. So the slides talks about more on the integration points between watsonx.gov and Amazon SageMaker. As I said in my previous slide, we are not disturbing the existing flow which the customers are using with using Amazon SageMaker as their machine learning tool, right? Or the framework. So we are not trying to disturb it. What we are trying to bring in is like how we can integrate with watsonx.governance. What are the advantages that organization would get in by integrating these two offerings? Right. So now that I've spoke about two different things, one is IBM and one is AWS. So we wanted to highlight what are the different services that are required for this particular integration. From the integration perspective, we would require AWS CloudTrail, Amazon Event Bridge, and Amazon SQS. So AWS CloudTrail is basically we use this for the SageMaker API calls that are published on the CloudTrail. We on the AWS Event Bridge, we have defined a specific set of rules which that extracts Amazon SageMaker model card changes. Say, as Shankar said earlier, right? Model card is something like it holds the metadata of your entire life cycle development of your model. Say, for example, like it holds what it holds the information such as like which algorithm was used, where was the data residing, what was the matrices that are emitted using SageMaker Clarify. So all this information will be kind of hosted on the model card, which is the metadata of your entire model, right? So we use Amazon Event Bridge, where we have defined the rules that extract SageMaker model card changes, right? Any changes that happens within the model card, it is triggered back to the Event Bridge. From there, we have Amazon SQS configured, so it sets up something like an FIFO queue for the integration for the model integration, right? And these are the high AWS services that are required. From the integration perspective, you would require AWS account ID, the access key and the secret key, and the Amazon SQS SQS service. So these three are required for the integration between our watsonx.governance and Amazon SageMaker. With respect to data synchronization, right? Uh, uh, the major components from the SageMaker that we are consuming is the model card, which is the model, which is the metadata of our model, the model packages, and the model groups. Right. If you see the above screen, the beneath architecture is your typical machine learning like life cycle of a machine learning architecture. The above is the GRC process which happens within watsonx.governance. I will go little more deep on my next slide on this architecture. Right. So here we are we have two high on a high level, we have two entry points, right? As I said earlier, we are not disturbing the existing customers who are using SageMaker. Existing customers who are using SageMaker can easily integrate with watsonx.governance to get the advantages of governance, risk, and compliance. And customers who are starting their machine learning life cycle, right, they can start using it right from the day one. So as I said earlier, like these are the three different personas, right? One is the data scientist, the GRC officer, and the data science architect. So on a high level, we are talking about these three personas, right? To start with, like a typical way, like when we do not have watsonx.governance into picture. So what we do is like a data science scientist would get the requirements from his data science architect. He'll start using the SageMaker a service on AWS for the model creation, use SageMaker Clarify for monitoring and so on, right? And they'll go ahead and deploy the model in Amazon SageMaker so that the endpoint is created and the endpoint is kind of embedded into their application. So now what we are trying to do is, like, with the integration of watsonx.governance, the data science engineer, even before start any requirement that comes in, right, he'll not even start his model development, right? The data scientist will go ahead and create a model AI use case within watsonx.governance. So this AI use case typically contains information about, say, what is the problem statement, what is the risk involved in this, what are the where the data resides. All this information is kind of captured here, right? Once all the information is captured here, what kicks in once the information is kind of submitted, system automatically provides you a list of Q&As, right? So these Q&As are more specific on the compliance part. I'll be showing those Q&As in the upcoming demos as well. So it will provide the list of question and answers. This Q&As are highly kind of customizable. End users can go ahead and customize these Q&As as well. So once the data scientist goes ahead and provides all the information about the model, system automatically identifies whether this particular AI use case is at a risk or no risk. Say if this particular AI use case is at a risk, then the data scientist would be notified through email. Say if it is a no risk, it will go to a data science architect. Data science architect would go ahead and review the entire information about the AI use case and provides an approval. Once an approval is provided, the data science is good to go to start his machine learning development lifecycle, right? So again, as I said, they use Amazon SageMaker service for the model development, use Clarify for monitoring the model. Then the entire information of the model is stored in the model registry. And then the information about the model registry, right? The metadata of my information is stored in my model cart. So once I have my information within my model cart, as I said earlier, we had like CloudTrail, SQS, and Event Bridge, right? Once I have my information in my model cart, the Event Bridge would trigger an event, which will in turn invoke a list of APIs behind the scenes, and then all the information about the model development, right, is kind of replicated within my model creation in watsonx.governance, meaning all my life cycle development, right? It can be your model monitoring matrices, what is the version of the particular model, which algorithm was used. The entire information about the model is captured within the model within my watsonx.governance. Now, once I have all this information, again, email notification would automatically triggered by the system. Then the GRC officer or a data science architect can go ahead and review all the information about your model. Once they are happy with it, they can go ahead and provide an approval. Once the approval is provided, the information, the status within the model card would be automatically changed to kind of approved for deployment. Once it is approved, they can go ahead and deploy the model within the SageMaker and an endpoint is created. Once the model is successfully deployed, the same information is again replicated within the model in watsonx.governance. So this provides a tight integration between watsonx.governance and Amazon SageMaker, where the entire information about your machine learning lifecycle is captured within a model in an AI use case within watsonx.governance, so that they comply to the governance, risk, and the compliance. So the end-to-end lifecycle is captured within this integration. So now let's come to a few challenges, right? With each organization faces, and what would be the ideal state to kind of overcome these challenges, right? So as part of your model lifecycle development, right, there you might see there is a lot of manual work that might be involved in it. This manual work might kind of at some point of time kind of prove to be a costly errors as well, right? So the ideal state for a system is like any manual work that a data science engineer is performing, it should be automated through an AI governance activity so that the entire activities are streamlined across your organization. uh, say for example, like you in an organization there are multiple data science teams, right? And the AI teams, say each team starts using different tools for monitoring or different tools for the governance, risk and complaints, right? So in that case it'll especially for a GSA officer, it will be very difficult to make sure that all the projects within an organization are aligned to a specific complaints. So an ideal state would be making sure that they use a common tool across an organization, so that everyone follows the same workflows, the same policies, so that they are aligned. The entire organization are aligned to a specific process, right? Then comes in, like say an organization is using hybrid cloud, like say they are using Azure, they are using on premise in that case, right? So we wanted to make sure yeah, the organization can use any, it can be an hybrid it can be an hybrid environment, and this particular hybrid environment should be aligned to a same policies and as well as the complaints. The last thing is like um, with respect to the collaboration, right? Usually people start using their emails and the Slacks to communicate, to make sure that they follow all the complaints process. So sometimes we see that there might be a delay in response, or some information is missed out, right? So we the organization would need a tool where they can collaborate within the particular same tool, so that all the information about the model life cycle is captured within that particular tool. So with this common challenges that I have mentioned here, so to get into an ideal state with these kind of activities, where watsonx.governance kind of fits in, to make sure that you have a streamlined process across generated AI governance. We have a common tool across your organization, and then have a common collaborative tool, so that the entire organization kind of communicates over a common tool. So now switching to a demo. Right. So as I said earlier, any organization that would require would like especially a GRC officer would need an high level view of, say for example, what are the different models what each department is using, or what are the complaint status of each model, or it can be the number of models that are in risk, which are in no risk, and what are the different performances across your organization, right? So this particular dashboard provides an overall view of an entire organization, where we can have a graphical view of the entire information uh, of your models. This dashboard is highly customizable. This is one of the design that we have created here, right? So now we see that we have plotted a graph against the model complaint status. We have a graph based on the different use cases, and then we have what the deployment status as well. Say for example, I can the beauty of this particular model is like it supports drill through approach, where if they wanted to filter based on the risk category, right, they can go ahead and click on the risk, so that the list of models that are under risk are automatically shown. Now we are starting with, as I said, with our architecture. Now we are starting with defining an AI use case, right? So now like this is the requirement which the data scientist has been given. They start they have not even started with the model development. They log in into watsonx.governance console, provide a new AI use case. So they have provided the name as like insurance fraud detection. They have provided some description, and what and the purpose of this particular model. Um, with the new AI use case, there are like few mandatory fields that the data science would need to be filled in. Once they provide all the mandatory field, right, now we are trying to attach to a business entity, and we are going ahead and saving the AI use case. Now if you see, have a model fraud use case, and which is aligned to a particular business entity. uh, Here the data science would kind of providing the risk and the different stakeholders within an organization. The list is highly customizable. Here we're providing, like, say, uh, the AI committee, yeah, the model risk as one of the stakeholder here, and who is the technical owner. So I'm going ahead and providing the stakeholder here. So once I go ahead and save this, right, I'm providing for the initial approval. So once the GRC officer provides an approval, right? So these are the list of questionnaires that I was stating in my earlier slides. So if you see here, we have different categories. Like, we have around 35 Q&As, and it starts providing, like, under which particular category this particular use case falls, right? I'm providing it as classification, and it talks about, like, what is the foundation model, where is the data residing, is this particular related to generative AI use case, from where this particular data is coming in, is it from the public source. All those Q and A's would be, the system automatically generate this Q and A's. This questionnaires, this list of questionnaires is highly customizable, and again, it depends on the input that is provided as part of your model development lifecycle as well. So once they provide all the information about the questionnaires, right, and submits the information about this particular uh, questionnaires, system automatically identifies whether this particular use case falls under risk or no risk. Now I have saved this particular Q&A, and I'll go ahead and submit it, right? So here I'm trying to depict, like, the list of Q&As that I'm providing, right? So the risk identification is completed under action. I'm going ahead and submitting. Once the user submits, right, so as I said, system automatically identifies whether this particular use case falls under a risk or no risk category. So based on that, the GRC officer, the data science architect, can go ahead and assess what is the risk of this particular AI use case. So here it has provided list of risk, right? One is the data biasness risk. So they can go ahead and click on this data biasness list, and they get more information on this. Now that this particular model has been submitted for has been approved, right? Let's assume this particular model has been there. The GRC officer, the data science architect, are happy with the information provided with the AI use case. They can go ahead and approve this particular request. So once this request is approved, system automatically sends a notification to a data scientist engineer, and then that the particular AI use case is approved, and then the normal the data the machine learning lifecycle is machine learning lifecycle is continued, right? So here we are kind of we have taken a small example of XBoost algorithm, where we are trying to the different life cycle, right? The typical life cycle of setting up your environment, and then initializing your client. These are the different steps that are involved as part of your model development. So, right, so this is the model training, and I have my data which is residing on an S3 bucket, which is part of the model training part, right? And then the entire information about this your model information is replicated with the model registry, which in turn which in turn gets updated with the model card, which is part of the model registry. So I have my training data which has been invoked, and then I'm trying to run it to the model registry, so that the information about the model is updated with the model registry along with the versions that have been using. I have my model registry accessed here, the model cart ARN, and the model deployment. So user doesn't go ahead and do the model deployment. Now we'll go to the model registry, as Shankar said, which holds information about the entire model. For this particular model, I've kind of fine-tuned it for 3 different versions, right? Version 1, version 2, and version 3. And in version 3, I've tagged it as complete. Now I have the entire information of my model cart, right? System automatically identifies the model cart has been created for this particular model ID within watsonx.governance. It automatically updates your model within that particular AI use case. Um, with all the information, right? As I said, like the what is the model card information, what are the matrices, what are the different uh, business entities, all this information about my model is captured within this particular watsonx.governance. I have my models, I have my use case. This is my particular insurance fraud detection use case, and the entire information about this insurance fraud detection use case is updated here.
Sunil,
So
there is
I'm
a question from the team that is the workflow is a predefined workflow, or can you? They're asking to show the workflow as well as if it's possible to show.
Okay, so the workflows that we are using here is a predefined workflows that comes with watsonx.governance, and also this workflow is highly customizable. You can go ahead and create a workflow from scratch, or you can use the existing workflow as well.
Okay,
Uh,
thanks.
yeah, yeah. So now that all the information is captured from my model cart, right? Here, uh, suppose a GRC officer goes ahead and approves this particular, yeah, submit for validation. They have submitted this particular AI use case for the validation. Now, the entire information, the update of my the status of my model is kind of updated in my model cart as well, right? If you say I was talking about the email notification, right? This is a sample email notification which is again highly customizable, which can be automatically sent to different users. Now we are submitting it for the final approval after reviewing all the information. So once I go ahead and submit this, the entire information, the status of the model is kind of updated within my model cart as well. Yeah, the user goes ahead and provides a he goes ahead and provides a final approval, right? So if you see, it's approved for production. So once they provide, the information is kind of updated within the model cart. If you go ahead and see the model registry, right? Once we refresh, the status would be now changed to approved, right? So all this information, this is the model card that is embedded within model SageMaker model registry. So now that my model has been approved, I can go ahead and run my notebook to deploy this particular model on the Amazon SageMaker, which creates an endpoint. And then, the entire information is again updated with watsonx.governance. Yeah.
Thanks, Sunil. Great demo. Thank you so much for sharing.
So we have watsonx.governance, which is available as a service, right? Is a complete SaaS service that is available on AWS Marketplace. You can go ahead and use this particular service. Like we have different plans, like for this watsonx.governance, single plan would include one instance for model risk and governance, which can include up to 10 models, 10 concurrent users, right? With 10 concurrent users, which we can use around 50 users in it. So once you go ahead and kind of provision this particular service, you can start kind of integrate Amazon SageMaker with watsonx.governance.
Sure. So how it's available is that it's available from AWS Marketplace as a service. You can just go to the marketplace and spin up a watsonx.governance instance, which each instance comes with different package models of the plans. And the plans, what Sunil is sharing about is a single plan with 10 models and 10 concurrent users.
So we have a lot of collaterals that are published for this integration of watsonx.governance with Amazon SageMaker. I would suggest take a snippet of these things. Like we have QR codes embedded with it. We have published like few lightboard videos. We have blogs. We have integration architectures published on AWS portal, blog portal, and Lightboard videos. I would strongly suggest to go ahead and review this. If you have any queries, you can reach out to us. We are there to help you at any point of time.
And also, if you have any questions, please put it in the chat so that we can able to answer to you on the questions. Still, I think we don't have any questions, I think, from the team.
Yeah. Thanks, team. Thanks for your time. I hope this session is useful, and it provided you more information on integration of our two different offerings from IBM and AWS, and what are the advantages of integrating watsonx.governance with Amazon SageMaker. Thanks for your time.
Sorry, there's a quick question. How does Open Pages leverages on overall the workflow?
So the workflow is embedded within watsonx.governance, right? So when we go ahead and, like, as I just showed you, right, the actions like submit for production approval and all those things. So all these things are mapped within watsonx.governance. So that, like, when you kind of create an AI use case, right, you can map which particular workflow to be invoked. So based on the mapped workflow, the stages differs as well. So say, for example, you have like more than 2 approvals required for our organization. So all those customization can be created on the workflow so that you can map your ASKs to the particular workflow, and then you can like go ahead and invoke the particular workflow.
Great. Hope the team got answer for the question. Thanks, Sunil.
Again, thanks, team. Thanks for your time.
Thank you all. Thanks all for joining, and this make use of these collaterals built by AWS and IBM together. You have Lightboard videos, you have blogs, how to do all the scenarios what we talk about. And thank you all of you. Bye.
Yeah, thanks for your time.